I just want to invest in people that really want to be the best that they can be.
Hello, everyone. It's Todd Scrima and Robyn LaVassaur and Jim Reed, and we're doing a Be Your Best podcast for our past clients. And today's topic is setting your magic number for retirement. And I will tell you where this came from. In the last 2 weeks, I had two good friends, both professionals, college educated, and where I'm just chatting as friends. And I said, "Hey, what is your retirement number? What is your magic number?" And the first guy asked, point blank looked at me and said, "I have no idea, and I've never thought about it." Swear to God, he's a professional. His wife is a big professional.
How old are they?
43.
Whoa.
So I'm like, okay, maybe that's just a fluke. So a couple of days later, I'm being social. I'm talking to another friend. I said, "What's your magic number?" And he says, "I don't know. My wife kind of takes care of that stuff." I said, "Okay, well, how's it going?" And he's like, "Not very good. We got a bunch of debt and don't have much cash." I said, "Well, you guys make a lot of money." He says, "We just never thought of it. I can call her right now, but we just never thought of it." So here's my point. The only thing we're going to get done in this podcast is to get you thinking. So let me just throw out some numbers because I want you to think long term. This is about delayed gratification. So if you ever study emotional intelligence is how we react to different situations and how we feel. What psychologists will tell you that study this stuff, and I've read this 4 or 5 times, they're like, the number one skill that is hardest on the emotional intelligence scale is delayed gratification. So when it comes to saving money, I think that's the block, is people don't want to think about it because they don't want to think about the delayed gratification. But to me, it's very simple. And I'll give you a number. So I've got a whole class on this, but let's say someone had 30 years to save money, and it's going to grow at about 8% a year, compound interest, okay? Average stock market returns 9.2 a year over 40 years. So 8% is conservative. We say, if I want $1 million and I'm starting from zero, which most people aren't, I need to save $670 a month. So that becomes my magic number. I'm going to save $670 a month. I'm going to have $1 million when I retire. So I'll have $1 million, my house will be paid off, and I'm going to get it $2,000 or $3,000 a month Social Security, right? That may be someone's retirement. So you do the math. You're like, okay, on $1 million a month, most people use 4 or 5% depletion rate. So I can take 40 or 50 grand a year out of that. I got $2,000 or $3,000 a month Social Security, and I don't have any bills, right? Except for utilities and food. Okay, decent retirement. Now let's say someone's super aggressive and they say, "I got 30 years. I want to have $4 million." Well, that number is $2,600 a month. That's what you got to save.
For how many years?
30 years, and you'll have $4 million.
Wow. That's at a 9% return, 8% return. 8%. 8% return.
Wow. Let's say someone wanted $10 million. You're going for the Mac Daddy, right? $10 million. And you had 30 years. You would save $6,700 a month, and you will have $10 million in 30 years. Now, some people are thinking, "Todd, those are big numbers. I can't save $200, right? Or I don't make enough money, or I've got too much debt, or hey, I'm already saving." Some people are listening to this thinking, "I already saved $1,000 a month. We're doing good, honey," right? Whatever your thought is, but it's easy to get these numbers. You just go online to a savings calculator and plug in the numbers, and it'll spit out what you need to save each month in order to hit your number.
Check this out. Because you brought this up, I was watching the news. I was watching TV last night, and something came up, a financial planning commercial. $100 a month for 35 years is $1.1 million. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Compound interest.
Yes, because you brought those big numbers of saving $6,000 a month, and I just thought, man, I looked at that and I'm like, paused it, went and got my kids, sat them down. I'm like, check this out. This ain't me telling you. This is somebody else. Listen up. $100 a month. So if you start working at 20 and you work till you're 55, that's 35 years. $100 a month, you have more than $1 million. That's crazy.
Crazy.
Anyways,
It's simpler than people think. That's my point. It's simpler than people think it is.
But don't you find how that a lot of people don't actually think about it? Again, this is vision, whether it's in your working years or your quote unquote retirement years, or some people think, oh, I'll just never retire. It's not even about having to quit working, but to have the choice, I think, is a massive freedom. That why would we work all these years without being able to be left with a choice of when you can step away? But people don't think about what retirement looks like. And so when your vision is simply fixed income, generally by the government, versus taking control and saving your own money, you're not really envisioning anything except for probably a pretty restrictive retirement, if you will, right? And so your goal is, pay everything off, stay really debt-free, and then live on a fixed income. I don't know about you, but I didn't start working when I was 14 years old, going to the little work permit shop, flipping some hamburgers and putting caramel in a Coca-Cola and, scooping ice cream and doing all the things I did so that I could, at 55, 60 years old, whatever time I decide to say I'm done because of savings, like, to live more restrictive than I did when I was working, like, no, thank you. And I don't think people vision that very well. It's not very exciting. You don't, but I don't think people vision that very well, right? They're like, this is the day I get to stop working. But what does that mean to start living differently than work, right? And that the tool to that, not always, but the tool to that is often money. And that I find that a lot of people lack that clarity as well.
Yeah. I want to add something. I'm sorry, just a little thing that I'm working on with my boys. My son, I'm trying to get him to understand the savings and compound and all those things. One of the biggest things that I think is important to learn when it comes to savings is that when we save money, we never get to touch it again. It sounds crazy and it sounds like not rewarding, but spending from earnings and saving for choices is such a big concept to learn. Because if you save a bunch of money for 5 or 10 years and then you spend it, right? Now, I'm not saying you can't spend some up for down payment on a house or something that's an asset that appreciates. So I'm not saying that, but to get to when you're looking at your number and your simple plan, it really needs to be tied in mentally. For me, it was, I'm saving it, it's gone, and it's just so I'm secure later and I have choices. And to get like, how when you work really hard and then you got some money accumulated or whatever, you got a big paycheck and you always wanted this one driver, an R7 driver, and you go buy it and you're pretty stoked and you go out and hit it and it works really well and you're pretty happy and you feel like you earned it. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
That feeling of working hard, earning something and getting a reward for it. The trick for me to try to get to a point where I may be able to retire someday was to get the same feeling from savings.
Yep.
That is the trick.
You, Jimmy, man, what you just said, I don't think that people really realize the dot touching. And I will tell you, I made a huge mistake prior to having any sort of financial awareness and nobody ever talking about it, because for some reason people talk about money like it's you must be a drug dealer or something. Like, if you have a lot of it, you must be doing something wrong. And if you don't have enough, that's embarrassing. So I'm not sure where the happy medium is, where it becomes an open topic, but it should be an open topic. I'm grateful for that from Summit Funding, because we say we get people into debt. We're going to help them get back out of it and build wealth, right? Both through real estate and just financial awareness. But it's such an interesting thing. I had retirement, if you will, that we could put money in, but you know how I treated it as a young mom, broke, kind of zero financial awareness. I paid the penalties time and time again on pulling from retirement when I was in my 20s. And here's the thing, in the moment, it felt like the only option and the smartest thing to do. Now, the truth was, if I had had your mindset, I would be wealthier right now, and I would have had the discipline to find alternative options. But instead, I treated that like, at least I have that little IRA that my company set up and I can borrow against it. I can liquidate it. I can, I remember one financial advisor pausing me at the small company I worked for and saying, like, let me tell you a few things. And at the time I was still very dismissive, and we need the money, whatever it was, car issues, plans to do something, whatever it was. But that I think that we often think that way. And so to save with the intention of not touching it is a different mindset than saving. At least I have it. I can access if I need it. Ooh, the moment you start talking that way and thinking that way, you're getting after it.
No bueno.
100%. You know, guys, let me end with this because we just want to open our brains on this. I am coming out with a program starting in March of 2023, so just around the corner. I created a whole program on this called Mastering Money with Todd Scrima, and I literally took every single thing I know about money and put it into content, and then I do live coaching on it. And I have people sign up for 2 months at a time. It's 8 weeks. I say, hey, give me 30 minutes a day for 8 weeks. I'll teach you everything you need to know about wills, trusts, 401ks, buying property, buying your first house, buying a duplex, starting a business. Like I put everything. It's something you could tell I'm excited about. Like
That's cool.
I've amassed all this wealth. I'm like, I'm going to write every single thing. I'm going to document how I think and how I do every single thing, and how I've helped over 600 people become multimillionaires. I put it all into a program called Mastering Money. I've never done something this aggressive in my life.
Wow.
And we're offering it to Summit Funding clients for pennies on the dollar. Just so you know, I'm selling the program for $5,000 to the public. That it's like to a Summit Funding past clients, it's $1,000. And if you're not happy with it, I'll give you all your money back. Like I'm literally like, it's not about money. It's about education.
Yes.
It's about education so that you can educate yourself. And it causes there's other things that cause pain with people. But for me, I think money is the root of a lot of it. I mean, the other things might be, drug and alcohol abuse and stuff.
That's different, right? It's avoidable.
Totally avoidable, right? You need to earn more money. I got classes on it, right? It's just, I'm very excited about this. So if you want information on that, shoot me an email. And I'll email you what I call a masterclass. It's like an online class you can look at, and I tell you everything about it. Email me at tscrima@summitfunding.net. So tscrima@summitfunding.net, and I'll send you that video. And then if you're interested, you can contact us back. But I'm very excited about it because I just think, I know all this stuff. Why not put it in writing? Life's about giving back and helping people. And I think
think about how many mistakes we made along the way that if people don't do that.
Tons.
Tons.
And tons. So guys, listen, we appreciate your business. If you're thinking of buying another home or you need to refinance a home or take cash out, please contact us. Contact the loan officer that this came from. We've got offices all over the nation, and we will help you in any way possible. If you're interested in Mastering Money program, email me. I'll send you the webinar. You can watch it. And if you're interested, you can contact us back. Guys, have a great month. Thank you for listening. Appreciate you guys. Thanks, Robyn. Thanks, Jim.
Bye.
Bye.